Hey crafters! Phyllis here of Cloth Paper Treasures with the beautiful, fabulous Valentine flip card we'll make today. It's interactive with plenty of goodies to stuff into it. And so here it is, and it's got a fabulous sheen to it that I'm going to show you how you achieve that if you stick around with me until the end. Look at all these contents: a framed butterfly, tickets, notepad, and a note card. So here's how we're going to begin. We're going to look at the butterfly at the front. We're going to notice the tuck spots, the heart tuck spot, and a little notched tuck spot on the end here, and a beautiful song on the other side of the card, noticing its potential for interactivity. Just want to reinforce how interactive this Valentine card is. In fact, it's not just a Valentine card, it's a love card to be presented year-round. Here it is, all cut out. Essentially, it's two pieces that are going to come together at the hearts. We're going to start by making some score marks for better folding opportunity. So right below the inside of the pink heart, I'm making a score line, the same for the other side. Fold along those score lines, and you can see now how those two hearts are going to come together. We need to make more score marks at the other pink vertical lines, and we'll do it like this. First, we'll fold up this little area here. I think we can get away without a score mark in this event. So get those kissy lips folded up, take the bone folder and reinforce that fold. Now we'll score along some marks, just like this. Fold them. You can see how sometimes I fold the wrong way first and then the correct way, just to reinforce the bend. On the other side of the project, do the same thing. Another couple of score marks and fold. Even better now, you can see how this comes together. Take a punch if you have one, and only punch about halfway in the center of the "Love is all there is" part of the card. Okay, so let's cut the cleavage, I call it, of the heart. You can try to cut both at the same time. I advise just doing one at a time. You can always perfect later. It becomes abundantly obvious now how this is more than a Valentine card. It's a love card that can be given all year round and is perfect for junk journals and art journals. Match it up, always checking and triple checking. Now ideally, I like to sew because it just comes together better at the bottom of the hearts than gluing or double-sided taping, I have found. But in the interest of those of you who don't sew, let's just go ahead and glue with a glue stick. And let's work up to that difficult fold by first doing the easy gluing. So glue the kissy lips down. Now glue the next closure. When working with the glue stick, you're going to need to really press it down. Press it down firmly so that it stays. Now, if you're enjoying this content so far, go ahead and subscribe, share, and like this video. The other side of the card requires some gluing in the two sides. Liberally glue those two sides. press it down firmly. If there are fit discrepancies, go ahead and trim them now. There's bound to be, so just trim as needed. Okay, now we really do have to face putting the hearts together. So, choose one side or the other and glue 3 sides up to where the cleavage starts and the bottom, and get those 2 pieces stuck together. The beauty of the glue stick is you have a few seconds of a chance to get it right, whereas with double-sided tape, it's really iffy. Press and press some more, and check for evenness. Looks like I've done pretty well here. A little something to trim. And now let's see what we've got. Okay, yeah, that's folding beautifully, opening beautifully. The tuck spots are all ready to be filled. I'm going to put this under something heavy for the meantime, and we'll get to making the butterfly later. Okay, on to the note cards. One's blank and one's a special message for you that you can extend to another or keep for yourself. What do you think I'm doing there? Yes, I'm rounding corners. I'm kind of crazy about rounding corners. Why? Because it's, less wear and tear on the corners with all the in and out. Here's a little notepad, and yes, I'm going to round all the corners of the cover and the pages. I'll be back with you after I've done that. Okay, all you need to do is just stack it all together, paper clip it together, and I'm going to run just a little seam across the top there. You can opt to just staple. You'll want to cover those staples decoratively with something, and I know you can come up with that something, like another piece of lace or something really great. You can let me know in the comments what you're going to do. And there it is, all sewn, ready to tear off sheets. Each of these sheets has its own special sheen too. On to the most challenging element, and that is the framed butterfly. Okay, so I'm going to start with what's called scoring. I'm going to take my ruler and just my trusty nail file and make an indentation along those outer edges of that inner rectangle. There's a reason for that. Making that partial slice through the paper will make it easier to bend back in a moment, which you'll see the reason for that shortly. So here I go with that trusty nail file around the edges. I find that 3 slices is the magic number to not go all the way through the paper and make a nice little dent, little indentation in the paper. Once I'm all the way around, I'm just going to take my little X-Acto knife and cut out that center. Now, if you're good with an X-Acto knife, you wouldn't have to do what I just did, and you could just cut along that edge that we just scored. I'm not good with the knife. I can't go straight, so I'll just cut willy-nilly on the inner lines pop out that centerpiece. Do another little something that you'll see in a moment. And that's going to be the better result for me. You do what's best for you. Now I'll take my little embroidery scissors and slash diagonal snips into the corners up to the score line. That will make it super easy to just bend back little flaps and see how that's, that's a much more perfect rectangle than had I cut it with the X-Acto knife. So now you have a couple of choices about how to go ahead and do this. That was perhaps the hardest part, is getting that rectangle to look really good. Now if you're going to glue, go ahead and smear glue on those flaps and beyond to hold the acetate piece that you're going to come up with. And I have a good idea what to do if you don't have a roll of acetate like I do. But first, before I forget, which I have forgotten in the past, before I put that acetate piece on, I need to mark the center of the back piece to glue on the butterfly, don't I? Yes, so happily I remembered to do that. I'm going to set that back piece aside now and truly deal with the acetate on the front frame. Okay, I know you got bills, kid, right? So if you don't have an acetate roll like me, find your bills, save the envelopes, take the piece of whatever that is from your bills and use it. Make sure to cut generously. You don't want to cut too small, and you can always trim later after you've glued on or sewed on. All right, back to the acetate roll for me. I'm cutting that piece just so. I'll probably just paper clip that on, and I'm going to sew around that inner frame now, just like that. Now I'm going to just double check the placement of my butterfly, and that's the organza butterfly, in case you order those instead of making your own, and we will make our own in a moment. But this is how you deal with the organza. They're very delicate. I've glued it on, and before I really press it on firmly, I'm going to triple check its fit, and now I will press it down firmly. I like the placement. It's great. I can sew around the outer edges now, sandwich it all together, and do it. Just do it. You glue or double-sided tape it. And there's the finished framed butterfly. It's darling, isn't it? Now, if you're making your own, it's just as cute. Take and choose 2 of the 3 provided. Cut one a little smaller than the other. Fold them in half. Glue the smaller one along its spine. Pinch it all together and embellish it however you would like, with something that's not too bulky. It's got to fit into the frame. The butterfly you make for the front of the card can be more three-dimensional. All right, last and my favorite are the tickets. Magic tickets in my mind. All the expressions of love that you could think of are there, and now we need to make perforation marks along those vertical lines. I'm going to do it on an unthreaded sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, you'll need to painstakingly stab holes with a safety pin or a pin, okay, until you get a result that looks like this. Lastly, take just an ordinary hole punch and just nip, just slightly nip into the vertical lines. And now those tickets are really looking authentic, aren't they? Nice and vintagey and beautiful and authentic. Okay, and so I promised to show you how you get this beautiful sheen on this paper. This vintagey, rich look. And how I accomplish that is, I certainly go ahead and coffee dye just like anybody does. I submerge paper in a wash tub full of coffee, lay it out on a towel, and while it's very, very damp, I smatter gold and silver metallic paint on it in a special way that I'll show you in another video that I'll link in the description below. That's an excellent reason to like this video and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you can get more videos just like this. Meanwhile, have yourself a beautiful, loving, universal love Valentine's Day.